In presentation one, we're going to talk about the advantages of a history of the farm ground you're going to either own or lease. If you own the farm and you have a history of the past 5 years, you'll have an advantage. If you're a farmer who's going to lease ground to grow hemp, you should do a concise history. You should find out what was grown on the property for the past few years. You should have an understanding of what the soil's like, as we talked about and will talk about in further detail with soil tests. You should know where the water's going to come from, what your source is, what its conditions are, what its quality is. You need to find out everything you can about the advantages that you can gain by leasing the correct piece of ground.
And one of the issues that we run across with the history, again with the soil, is what's been put on that soil in the past. Has it been loaded up with nitrogen, any of the NPK? Has it been loaded up with pesticides and herbicides and fungicides to maintain the control of the pest infestations? Those kinds of issues with your soil are critical because this is a crop where the quality of the oil is essential. And if you have residual in that oil of any of those chemicals, it's going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem selling that crop.
Have a plan in mind. Figure out exactly where you're going to get your water, how you're going to treat your soil, what nutrients are going to go in place. This is a fun plant to grow, and if you just take a few seeds and throw them in the field, they'll grow. And you can say, I'm a hemp farmer because I'm a hemp grower and I grew hemp. But if you don't do it, if you don't have a plan in place, if you don't start with the genetics, if you don't go all the way to where's this crop going to be sold, then you're going to be a hemp farmer and not a successful hemp grower. We want you to be successful at what you do. We want you to make money with this crop.
Another issue that I just recently was exposed to, an issue of contamination just from being nearby a cornfield or an orchard. Nice piece of ground. I went to do an evaluation on it, and across the street there's orchards, and when they fog those orchards, and that fog can, it can drift for a mile. And if you're planting within a mile of some potential source of contamination, you are risking your crop, and that's just too great a risk. I mean, it's expensive to raise this crop. You don't want to have to hassle your neighbors because they need to do some things for their crop, and it's going to impact you very negatively.
Keep in mind that the end use of this product is to be consumed by human beings in some form. As I mentioned earlier, it might be a gel cap, it might be a smokable, but people are going to consume this. So before you even think about what you're going to put on your plant or on your soil or in your water, think about the fact that someday somebody's going to consume the product you grow, and there's a good chance that whatever you put there, they will consume it. So let's be very careful about what we put on our crops, how we treat our crops, and keep in mind the end use is a consumable product.